Hey everyone, it's Rowdy, and welcome back to another review. And today I'm going to be reviewing World Gone Mad, Season 1. Well, technically it's Book 1 because this is supposed to be a book, but Book 1, Chapter 1, the series premiere, Reanimated Corpses. Let's get right into it. So, man, absolutely fantastic premiere, Dan. Like, I had a feeling going into this that this was going to be good, but I did not expect to be this like invested in just one chapter because this had a lot to it, and I can't wait to talk about some of the great stuff. So this chapter introduces us to some of the characters. We meet the protagonist, which is Lincoln. Well, at least from this first chapter, it seems like he's supposed to be our top lead of the show. And we over the course of the episode we have flashbacks, and well, we see stuff with his family and about at the beginning of the apocalypse, and like how they're packing up as the military is rolling in. And then, well, he gets knocked out by the military because he doesn't want to like go with them, but the military takes his family. So it seems like Lincoln's motivation for the series, or maybe the first season or book, whatever, is going to be finding his family. So who knows what's going to come of that. I am excited to see what we're going to get with that. So of course we have some we because this is obviously a zombie story. It's post-apocalyptic, but it's its own universe, and it's nothing like The Walking Dead. It's a new universe, new characters, new story. And another thing I'll be saying is I will not be comparing this to The Walking Dead. I'm not going to be being like, oh, like The Walking Dead this did this way better. Like this doesn't hold up to The Walking Dead because you, especially from this first chapter, it already feels like they're really like their own things. So regardless, I just don't feel right comparing it to The Walking Dead. I may bring it up in these reviews every once in a while. Don't get me wrong, but not in a sense of comparison. Just be like, hey, this scene kind of reminds me of that scene from The Walking Dead, you know. So around halfway through the chapter, we have Lincoln who finds these two at a camp, and they're like around a campfire, and Lincoln hides, but then one of these two knocks him out, and he ends up waking up. He's like tied up on a tree, and these two characters are named Tom and Billy, and I'm guessing they're going to be two other like main protagonists of this series. So yeah, Billy and Tom, interesting characters, and I like how like we saw from Lincoln that he was apparently gonna kill them. It seems like. So it seems like Lincoln is definitely a very brutal character. We're not like I'll bring some of this stuff up later, but it's like we're not really following the early days. This is 10 months into the apocalypse, so like Lincoln's survival experiences are already established. So we see he's definitely more hardened survivor, but the thing is, Billy and Tom, they are too. And though they definitely seem to be good people, and I mean, I don't know if I fully trust them yet myself, but we do learn that before, like around when it first started, they went full Fear the Walking Dead season 4B and Fear the Walking Dead season 5 helping people. So there's that. And I mean, just a little joke, but I just found it funny how they brought up the whole helping people thing. Though obviously I doubt it was in reference to Fear the Walking Dead. But we see Tom get untied, and we learn from Tom and Billy that people in the new world are really like nasty. So I'm curious to see where we're gonna see that, because one thing I've heard from Dan is that this series is going to be extremely freaking dark. So which is great because I think dark is something that would really benefit a series, and having an overall dark tone would really make a nice shift. So I'm excited to see where he goes with that and what he means by dark and how like cruel people are, since it isn't something we've necessarily seen too much of in first chapter. So of course, we have uh, we have Tom and Billy who threaten to kill Lincoln if he tries anything, which makes sense. And then around this time, we get the flashback about Lincoln getting separated from his family by the army, and we just learn a bit about these two characters. And I think I'm a big fan of Billy and Tom. I'm a big fan of them. My favorite so far is definitely Lincoln. I think he's a very interesting protagonist and this very brutal character who has some pretty interesting motivations and intentions, it seems, with his family. So I'm excited to see what Dan does with this character because he's already a very well thought out protagonist. And then later around the end, we have Billy, who is I think it was Billy, but Billy is taking watch, and then he goes walking because he heard something, and then he gets knocked out by somebody, and this guy says this isn't your world anymore, and then the episode ends. We don't know who this person is, but I'm guessing it's going to be some kind of antagonist. So anyway, I thought this was an absolutely fantastic first chapter. It was just really well thought out and really well written. And one of the other things I thought was spectacular was the music. Like, Dan, when you get to the Fear the Walking Dead rewrites and the Walking Dead Season 8 rewrites, please include music, because the music is another thing. Like, one of the main things that just sold me on this. It had such a great atmosphere, and I thought that was just amazing. Lincoln, great character. Billy and Tom, though I don't fully trust them yet, we got some cool. We got those two as supporting characters who I think are who are pretty cool and interesting, even if they might be a bit suspicious. And then we have a nice cliffhanger to get us set up into episode 2. Tom and then Tom, yeah, and Billy's now gonna be missing. I guess he's gonna get taken by whoever this figure is, whoever this person is, and obviously this is kind of like it's similar to the Walking Dead rewrites in a way it's told, but it has its own way. Instead of Dan just showing pictures, he actually has text and he's reading the text, but there's pictures to go along with it. And I think it's just something really well done. Dan really he seems really into it, and I'm glad that he seems to have a very easy time with going with it. So overall, that's really well done. And now I am gonna get to some small critiques I do have. First one, first one I have to say is the episode felt a little bit short. I know, I mean, I knew that the episodes weren't going to be too long. It's like the Walking Dead rewrites. The episodes were, max 20 minutes. But I think for the future, Dan, if you're watching this, maybe you could try to have the episodes be a little bit longer. Or chapters, maybe around 15. Because I feel 11 minutes is a bit more on the short side. So... But it's not something that necessarily ruins it for me. I still think it's very, well thought out. Next critique is kind of I don't think this is something that's going to affect my rating, but it's kind of how Dan refers to it as a book. But I don't know, because just the way, it's explained, it doesn't feel like something, it feels more like a TV show than a book, personally. I just don't think I think it could still work as a book, but stuff like the flashbacks, the scene with we saw some a scene with Lincoln killing somebody with a machete at the beginning, kind of just a quick flashback that was really short. Just the way that was explained, it felt more like something you would see in a TV episode and not something that would happen in a book. I'm not saying a book couldn't do this, but from what I've read in books, it feels more like it'd be like that. It wouldn't be like that, but it's not something that really affects that's going to affect my rating. I still think this is overall really well done. So I'm going to go ahead and give this the first chapter, Reanimated Corpses. I'm going to be giving this a 9 out of 10. This wasn't. This was a fantastic premiere, and I am so excited for the rest. It's honestly a shame that it's only going to have five more chapters, but from what they've done in this first chapter, though it was definitely slightly short and definitely could have benefited from being a little bit longer and maybe having some added scenes. I think like he has a great Dan has this great setup for these next five chapters, and I'm going to be watching them and I'm going to be reviewing them. So anyway, that's all I have to say. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.